Hello and welcome back to Throttle Up. Today we have with us the 2023 Next Gen Hector Plus. Although MG is branding it as a next generation, it feels more like a facelift because it's not updated to that level that it feels like a next generation. There are some cosmetic changes, many features have been added, but apart from that, the engine specifications remain exactly the same with the same petrol engine and the same diesel engine. The petrol engine is available in 6-speed manual or a CVT automatic gearbox, and the diesel is only available in a manual because now they have discontinued the 7-speed DCT that they offered in a petrol version. Plus, they have also discontinued the mild hybrid version that they offered for the Hector. As for the variant lineup, it will start from Style, go to Smart, Smart Pro, Sharp, Sharp Pro, and then newly launched Savvy and then Savvy Pro in different combinations of 6-seater and 7-seater for the Hector Plus. Although the normal Hector remains a 5-seater, obviously. Now for the engine, as I mentioned, the engine specifications remain exactly the same with the petrol engine offering 143 horsepower and 250 Newton meters of torque, while the diesel offers a 170 horsepower and 350 Newton meters of torque. This car we have today is the petrol version, says MG Turbo right there on the engine, and it's huge plastic cladding. It gets insulation on the bonnet, but there are no hydraulic struts, which is a miss because the bonnet is super duper heavy. As for the front profile, the first thing that I noticed is that the grille has grown humongously. It is a huge grille, takes 80% of the front profile, has this chrome diamond studs on the top, which gives it a very bold look, and it does not look problematic. It's still good nonetheless. Has gloss black treatment as well to contrast with that chrome. It has a lot of chrome. You also get the front punk camera, the ADAS level sensors at the front, because this one gets the ADAS level 2. The DRLs are placed at a similar location, but now the DRLs get a dynamic swipe feature for the turn indicators. The low beam, high beam, projector lamps remain the same. The fog lamp says MG inside it. So overall, very similar look, but still they have made the DRLs sharper, so it looks better in person. So really nice. For the side profile, you get the same dimensions, the same look, the same alloy design, and even the same wheel size, being a 255/50 R18. This car gets a dual tone treatment, so you can see that the roof line is black, and it also gets the roof rails. The length of this car is 4699 mm with a wheelbase of 2750 mm, so it is identical to that of the previous generation of Hector. For the door handles, you get a similar treatment, a partial chrome plus a body color treatment, so it looks again identical. It says Morris Garages on this chrome plate that is running on the black body plastic cladding, which is going at the bottom of the doors and the wheel arches. There's the gloss black treatment for the ORVMs, which also houses the LED turn indicator. There are 5 cameras in total on the exteriors because of the ADAS and the 360 punk camera. The wheel size, as I mentioned, is a 255/55 R18 and has the same alloy design, which looks really nice. It's good that they haven't changed the design because it feels nice overall, even though it's coming from the previous generation. The rear profile also has been tweaked in this next generation. It gets connected tail lamps now, which is the norm nowadays because every brand is doing that treatment for the tail lamps. You get the rear defogger, rear washer and wiper, and this integrated spoiler which feels very sporty, which houses a stop lamp of course, so it looks really nice at the top, although it does get a little messy and over designed because there's a lot of chrome usage with the connected tail lamp and the bumper. You also get a fake exhaust treatment which has chrome surrounds on it, so a lot of chrome. You also get this red reflector at the bottom of the tailgate, so it feels over designed somehow. The good part is that we do get blessed with a power tailgate because it's really required in this car with a very heavy bonnet and a tailgate. Although we still miss out on the hydraulic struts at the front, we do get a power tailgate for the back, so that's nice. Coming to the rear boot space now. You can tumble down this third row to create boot space because if the third row is up and people are sitting in it, the boot space is pretty minimal, which is understandable. But if you go for the Hector, there's a lot of space because there is no third row and it's a huge boot space, but at the cost of the third space you would have to sacrifice the boot space in the Hector Plus, so that's a problem. The fifth wheel, the spare wheel, is at the bottom of the car, so that's another hassle that you will have to go through if your tire gets punctured. Being a heavy panel, the tailgate does take its own sweet time to actually close, and there you can see the dynamic swipe indicators in the motion as well. Now let's get into the rear seat of the car, which is the second row essentially because this being the Hector Plus gets 3 rows. It's available in both 6-seater option and a 7-seater option, but this being the 6-seater option gets 2, 2, 2 and then 2. For the door pads, you get chocolate brown and black finish, which is part plastic, part leather, although it feels very premium, even the plastic bit. The speaker mesh is very nicely designed with this silver surrounds and this sharp line of border, which I really like. The power window button is placed in a very wooden garnish finish, although it's not obviously wood, it's plastic, but it feels nice. It feels very premium. The door handle and the tweeter is located right there. This uses the infinity sound system, so you get 9 speaker sound system with
4 speakers, 4 tweeters and 1 subwoofer. Now let's get into the rear seat. The biggest update that you have gotten is the in the dashboard in this next gen update, with the huge touchscreen which can put S-Class to shame. But then S-Class touchscreen is obviously better. Since the seat's position can be adjusted, the legroom is not a problem at all. The headroom is decent at best because there's a huge panoramic sunroof, so it does eat up into the headroom. But I'm still very comfortable. The recline angle can be adjusted, the legroom can be adjusted. So all in all, a very good space to be in. There is absolutely no shortage of space. The armrest is a problem because I don't like these narrow armrests when you get a 6-seater option. So that's a bit of a problem, but nonetheless, now let's get into the third row. I find 6-seater options better than the 7-seater options because at least you can get into the third row without tumbling down any seats, which is a hassle. So yes, and in the Hector also you get decent enough space to actually get into the third row. Although I have pushed the second row seat a little to the front, but still the space in the third row is just about adequate, because if an adult is seated in the second row, the space on the third row would be on the lesser side. For the features, you get 2 AC vents on both the sides, 1 cup holder on the left side, controls for the AC fan for on the left side. You get USB socket on the right side. The window real estate is kind of small, so you might feel claustrophobic. There are 2 adjustable headrests on offer. There is obviously no armrest, and the recline angle is okayish. Not too reclined, not too upright. That's the USB socket. It's not a type C, it's just a simple USB socket, and you get 3 cup holders in total at the third row. So that's kind of decent. And it's just an average third row, nothing too extraordinary, and I'm not even complaining because it's still nice. For the second row's AC vents, you get this very different finish with this gloss black and chrome treatment, which feels nice. And you get a type C socket right below the AC vents. You do not get any sun blinds, which is kind of a miss. Grab handles and the cabin lamps are placed on the corners because the panoramic sunroof takes most of the space in the roof. So that's about the second row. Now let's get into the front. Overall, the second and third row experience is nice. Specifically the second row, it's very nice because the seats are comfortable, the cushioning is great, and the space is a lot. So very nicely done. The door pad treatment on the front door also remains the same, with the same chocolate brown and this black color treatment with this part leather, part plastic finish. The controls are placed in this wooden finish yet again, but it feels plasticky still. The door handle is nice, silver metallic finish. The tweeters are placed on the A pillar. The driver's side seat is completely electrically adjustable. Since this is an automatic, you get 2 pedals. That's the fuel lid and the bonnet opener. There's a good sized jet pedal as well. The controls for the ORVM are placed here and not on the door, so you can control the power tailgate, the ORVM's opening and closing, and the mirror through the controls placed right here. You get gloss black treatment for the AC vents. Now talking about the cockpit, the instrument cluster and the infotainment is completely new. I have mixed opinions about the instrument cluster, and I'll cover both the parts, good and bad. The good being that the MID is really nice. It houses a lot of information from tire pressure monitoring system to media controls to the ADAS features, driver attention, driver level assist, 360 parking camera, everything is right there. The bad part is that one, it does not get any analog dials. Even the extreme left and the extreme right are completely digital, although you do get host of information, but I would have loved if they did analog treatment even in that MID. So that's kind of a problem for me. The another thing is, which is actually worse, is that the controls are really confusing. The right side of the steering wheel controls the infotainment, the left side of the steering wheel controls the MID, which is first is non-intuitive. Not any other brand does that. Secondly, even the left side, the complete left side buttons are not just for the MID. Some buttons of it would control the infotainment, and same goes for the right side of the steering wheel. Some buttons would control the MID and some would control the infotainment. So the volume button for the instrument cluster is on the right side, but to control the channels and the songs is on the left side. To pick up the call, you have to go to the right side, but to mute a song, you'll have to go to the left side of the steering wheel. So that's really confusing. I'm still confused how something so easy can be so messed up. Now for the steering wheel finish, you get completely leather finish with tilt and telescopic functionality, so that's nice. For the dashboard, you get a 14-inch touchscreen, which is the biggest in its segment, and this is the biggest touchscreen to be ever fitted in an Indian mass market car. But there is a big but, no pun intended. The UI is decent at best. It feels like I'm using a sub 10,000 rupees phone because the user interface, the animations, the icons are not very aesthetic to look at, put it simply. You get all the controls, 360 parking camera, ventilated seats, you get the controls for the air ventilation, you get controls for ambient lighting, you can have different apps in the touchscreen installed itself. You don't even have to connect it to Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, although it still does get it. So there's a lot of features going on. The buttons are also touch placed right below the touchscreen. The only problem is that it does not feel as expensive as it should. It feels that only the size has gotten bigger, but the quality has not improved much. The touchscreen being an LED and the instrument cluster being LCD feel the same, which is shouldn't be the case because the LEDs blacks and darks should have been brighter and darker, so that's not the case. So it might be the biggest but not the best touchscreen we have seen. The buttons are touch, but the non-intuitiveness is made up for the fact that they're just 3 buttons. So it's simple to use. You get an electric charger, a very beautiful and a very nice looking gear knob, which is an automatic obviously since this is the CVT option that you get. These are the controls for the ventilated seats and the hazard lamp indicator. The piano blacks and this wooden treatment give center console such a premium feel. It is really nicely done by MG. The parking brake is electric with auto hold function, park assist. So obviously the features are there since this is an MG. You get 2 cup holders with this blind which feels like it's picked up from a Mercedes BMW. So it's very premium, very nicely done. You get a sliding center console armrest which is very broad, so that's nice. Although the space is a bit on the lower side and it's very dark actually. There's no illumination inside. A small problem is that it's not very ergonomically convenient because this is what happens. Because the armrest is so much at the back of this huge center console that it makes it a problem for actually me to reach out to the space inside. The glove box has decent size but no illumination and no AC cooling vents. The dashboard is something that I love because of these redesigned AC vents with this aluminum and gloss black and a soft leather treatment. So that's really nice, contrasting colors also. Sunglass holder at the top with the cabin lamp controls. Obviously, you get automatic sunblinds, powered sunblinds, and a panoramic sunroof, which is huge, covers almost the entire cabin up to the 2 rows. Obviously, you get very nice bolstering and cushioning and a good broad headrest. So that's nice, and the seats are really comfortable. So no marks cut in terms of the comfort that you get in any of the seats in the MG Hector Plus. So that was our review of the MG Hector Plus 2023. This is being rebranded as the next gen, but I would call it a facelift because it is indeed a facelift with new features and some cosmetic design changes as compared to the previous generation. This Hector Plus Savvy Pro 6-seater variant would cost somewhere around 20 to 21 lakhs ex showroom, which is a decent enough pricing because you get most of the features that you would expect in this segment. So all in all, a good refresh on the car that many Indians already love, and it has created a niche for itself wherein many people are actually buying it now. So that was my take and my review of the MG Hector Plus next gen, although albeit a facelift. So do let me know in the comments what do you think about this Hector Plus, and do you think whether it's a next gen or a facelift. Also, whether would you buy one if you had a budget of say 20 to 25 lakh rupees. Also, which one in your opinion looked better, the previous one or this one? Don't forget to like this video if you appreciate our content, because when you like it, it encourages the algorithm to showcase our content to a new set of people so that they can also appreciate it just like you do. Keep watching Throttle Up and do not forget to hit the subscribe button to stay tuned to Throttle Up.